Hey guys, how's everybody? I hope you're all well. Hope everybody's had a great day. Another little repair here for you today. Was not expecting to have to do this. This thing ran amazing last night. Kind of really odd that I'm having any kind of issue at all today out of it. I'm sure it's just picked up some trash in the carburetor screen, but I'm pretty sure I have a new kit here for this saw. So we're going to go ahead and rebuild the carburetor on it. And, you know, this may or may not help someone down the line. This will be the same on a 660, an 064, and probably 90% of other Stihl saws. It's some of them you have to take this cover off to get the linkage out. Some you don't. It's just all saw dependent. I know 024 through 036 you've got to pull this cover off to get the carb off. But again, you know, this will be the same on a lot of Stihl saws. This saw's about as old school as it gets. It's a 66 mag. I'm not going to call it restored. I brought it back to life. Threw some paint on it. It was missing a lot of paint. Redone the plastic. Painted it. It's mostly an OEM saw. It does have some aftermarket parts in it. Not a lot, but it does have some aftermarket stuff in it. But you want to get this grommet out, depending on your saw, it may not have that grommet. Usually it should just pull right out. And what that'll usually do is give you access. Get in here and lay your throttle linkage over to the side. This saw is going to eventually need the complete switch assembly, control assembly in it. I don't know if something's broken in the handle. I hope not. If so, we'll just swap it out with one of these pieces here that's newer, that shroud, where I can keep the old school tank on it. This thing was running good. You know what happened? I got it out to try to run it this afternoon, and started on the second pull. About the second I touched the bar to a piece of wood, it fell on its face. Like it just completely lost impulse. I'm really hoping it's a carb issue, not an air leak. It would just suck. That carb should be loose. There we go. And that's as simple as it is to get the carb out of that. But what I've got to do now is get completely set up in a different location, and we'll pull this thing apart, give it a cleaning, put some new diaphragms in it, probably end up changing the screen out in it, and, you know, maybe it'll help somebody out. Alright guys, I hope everyone can see halfway what we're doing here. I'm going to start by the pump diaphragm side. I almost guarantee that that's where the issue's at. I actually checked this thing out last night. Wish I would have just rebuilt it while I was in there, but who knows, I could have missed some junk in the tank. It could have picked up some junk, but it's act like a complete, it's just not pulling fuel kind of deal that the saw was doing. Like I said, it fired on the second pull, and when I put it in a piece of woods when it went to acting up. So hopefully it's in the carburetor, and I put pretty good seals and stuff in it, so hopefully it's not some crazy issue there. We got some varnish going on, some dirt. I'm sure it's just a case of this thing needs rebuilt and cleaned. It is probably a miracle from above that the thing even fired up and ran at all. Go to this other side. This is actually your meter and diaphragm side, and I really hope I'm keeping this in frame. I keep looking up at the monitor to kind of see what's going on. That don't always mean that I don't move something, and you need a flat screwdriver basically, and that was an 8mm, that was probably actually a 5/16 on that ratchet. I think that's a SAE set laying over there. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If this video helps you at all, all I ask is you subscribe, maybe hit the notifications bell. If you're into saws or wood cutting or anything like that, you know, we may have something here that you may enjoy. Now I'm kind of questioning how it ran it off. That diaphragm's not horrible, it's not that, it's pretty pliable, honestly. When I pulled it down last night, I just pulled the pump side off and give it a little cleaning. Like, well, I'll chance it and see if it runs, but I'll probably have to go off camera a little bit and clean some gaskets, and pull this screen out and clean it. Give you a look at that. You can see how dirty that is. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pause you guys. I'm going to clean the gasket off. I'm going to hunt up a pit to get that screen out. Hunt up my rebuild kit, and I'll bring you guys back. Okay guys, I don't know if it'll even pick up and show you, but there's that screen. We'll lay it out down here. Maybe you can see it down there on the piece of paper towel, which I highly recommend you use. Just a piece of shop towel lay down. I'm gonna lay this over here because not every one of those kits comes with a new screen. You may end up having to clean it and put it back in, but how you clean this carburetor is up to you. Obviously an ultrasonic cleaner would be best, but mine's no longer functionable and actually got thrown away. I need to get another one, but I'm just going to take some brake clean. We're going to clean all the passages out, which this was clearly just a pump diaphragm failure anyway. Get things cleaned back up, and we'll start going back together with this thing. Alright guys, I've done what cleaning I'm going to do. First thing I'm going to do is get this new screen in. Hopefully you can see there where it goes. Just kind of get it started in the hole it goes in, and find a punch that kind of fits that, push it down in, and looks like we're in. There you have it. We have a new carb screen installed. Next thing I'm going to do is, we could just go ahead and put the clean up the diaphragm base and put it back on. So I'll get the gasket off that, and we'll do that next. Alright guys, so I had the wrong carb kit out. Honestly, I have no idea what that other kit I had even goes to, but thought it was for 66. The box it was in wasn't marked, but you'll have your gasket go on first, and then your diaphragm. Just remember, your diaphragm's always going to go to the side where fuel's at and going to sit. If you hold your mouth right, it should sit right on there just like so. And then we're going to get our screws out. and start bolting her back down. It'll take the fatter of the screws if you forgot which ones go on this side. Start it in. Pick out of the way. Start off by tightening them just in a crisscross pattern, just like you'd do anything else. If you have a pressure and vacuum tester, you can test. Mine's screwed up. I've not bought one back. Doubt I will. Just make sure they're all good and snug. You don't want to break them or strip them off, but you want them pretty tight. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is get ready. I'll get it out and we'll get the meter and diaphragm side, put it in. Okay guys, always remember this: gasket first, diaphragm, and then your cover. Get your 4 screws and put back in, and hopefully, if everything's right, we got a good functioning carburetor and can get it back on the saw and up and running. I really want to run this saw. I've put a lot of time into it. It is almost basically a complete restoration. It's always cool when you bring back an old saw back from the dead, and I tend to do that a lot. I get more out of that than pulling one down doing a port job on it, honestly. That's gotten to where it's not a challenge at all. Once you figure out what's right and what's wrong, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, it becomes pretty straightforward. I don't build the fastest saws in the world, but I damn sure don't build the slowest ones either. Got my own way of doing things, my own style, and seems to work. I'll just tell you, I've tried it all. If there's something out there, I've tried it. And I found doing the simplest of port work on a saw seems to tend to be the best running saw in my experience for an old work saw. But I'll get you guys set back up and we'll get this thing put back on. Okay guys, so I think we're ready to get the carburetor back on and in place. See if I can spin it just a little bit. I've still got the bar and chain mounted on it, and it's the main thing is you want to make sure that you get that impulse lined up, get it on and in place, and you should be able to go through the side over here. And yeah, it'd probably be best to use a little pair of pliers or something to get your linkage back on. Hopefully the tune-up on it's still good enough where it was at. I didn't pull the jets out. If you're doing one that's just completely gobbed and stopped off, you might want to do that, but I'm almost certain this was a case of just a case of diaphragm failure. I don't think that thing had ever even been apart, to be honest with you guys. And you don't want to forget your fuel line. I may end up having to get a pair of pliers to get that on. But I think it's going to go. That's a new piece of tag on. I believe we're on good enough. Give you guys a look close up of what all that looks like. There you have it. Now we need to get the rest of the assembly. I'd shown this in the last video on this saw. This is super cool. These are normally plastic. On these older ones, they are metal. My 064 had a completely different style of air filter on it, but it filtered like crap. What few times I took that saw out and ran it, there was fines under that filter. It's like a kind of like a flat filter that goes on the saw. I don't think any of the 66s ever had that, to my understanding. Right now what I'm digging for is our other carburetor nut. It should be right here in this little box. A lot easier if you put those in the end of a socket and start them. That'll be a lot quicker as well. Now we need a ratchet. Hopefully she fires up and runs. If not, I'm going to be disappointed because I really don't want to have to go into this. I rarely ever have to go back into a saw. I'm almost certain it was running so well last night that it's carburetor related. That diaphragm kind of looked like crap, and you guys seen the screen was all gobbed back off. And I just cleaned all that last night. Wish I would have rebuilt it while I was in there, but it's like I was in a hurry. Don't ever do that. Just snug them up. Don't break them off. Our air filter. That in there. Like I said, this saw's eventually gonna need the whole switch assembly put in it. There you have it, guys. Just a simple rebuild on one of these carburetors. This applies to a lot of Stihl saws. Just you can go by the same things I showed you. Depending on the age of the carburetor, if it's something vintage, honestly, if it gets to where I have to change the needle valve out in them, usually the body of the carb's also worn out, so generally I won't fool with that. Usually just replace the carb. Other people will replace the needle valve and the lever, but it's about a pain in the ass getting them set back properly, getting those that little spring back in and the little screw. Especially if you wear bifocals or something, or you know your eyesight's kind of poor, it can be a nightmare trying to do that. So I generally don't do that, and there really ain't much of a way you could show it on film or on camera. You know, there's others out there I've seen that have shown it, but usually just a simple gasket kit, usually, you know, a simple kit for a carb will do it and get you back going. But this one, it was just, you know, an old ass diaphragm. It ran last night because hell, it had probably never seen ethanol fuel. I run it in everything, don't really lose any sleep over it. Just run a good mix. I run 32-to-1 and everything. I've got saws been sitting on the shelf over here for over a year, and I can pull them off and they'll fire up and run. It just is what it is. But anyway, hope this helps somebody. Everybody have a great day.